What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to GmiasWorld, and right now we're going to be talking about Von Miller. And I know a lot of you guys still have Von Miller on your squads, and I'm not telling you that this is something that you have to do. I'm just going to explain to you guys why I did it and why I kept going back and forth. For those of you guys that know, you've already probably liked the video. You guys are just straight OGs. You come into every stream, so you know what's up. With the way that the game has been going, it looks like at this point, with the way that the players have been getting released, we're going to get a lot more faster quarterbacks. Bro, who knows? We might see Michael Vick this weekend. But the speed threshold of a lot of the linebackers that play, including the Team of the Week, Chandler Jones, is going to be released later today. They're not fast enough, right? So you have to do something to try to counteract it. So I was able to get rid of him for, what did we just sell him for? We got rid of him for about 148K. So his price is steadily going down because for a while it was like around the 175 area. But I think what people are starting to see is that, you know, like we all get to see eventually with Madden, things are changing. So we have to add different players. Now, Derrick Thomas is a guy that's kind of unique, and it's weird why he's that good, but a lot of the people in the chat were like, yo, Gmi, you got to check him out. He's raw. Same thing with Jevon Kearse. A lot of you guys like the way he plays. I'm going to show you these three players because I think it's very important that everybody understands why you should possibly get the faster outside players, regardless of what your defense is. If you're running 3-3-5 wide, if you're running nickel, nickel triple, nickel 2-4-5, double A gap, those outside players, you want them. It's a little bit more. It's more needed than ever in an early state of Madden because the cards that are being released are so fast it doesn't even matter. You know what I'm saying? So let's take a look at Derrick Thomas and figure out what's going on. And for those of you guys that are new to the channel, the reason why you have to get to a 90 is for that third ability slot, and generally the pass rushers will be able to unlock edge threat with that. Because I got a lot of those questions from new people that are getting into MUT, and they're like, yo, Gmi, why don't you get a lower guy, you know, 87, 88, like a TJ Watt, stuff like that. He doesn't unlock certain abilities because he doesn't meet that 90 overall. So if your player doesn't get to that, no matter what position, they won't get this third slot, and it won't give them the type of abilities that you probably need right now. So that was a great question, and I'm glad that you answered. You asked it. I don't know if anybody got back to those comments in the chat, but I will always, once it's brought to me by my staff, let me know. Like, yo, look, yo, Gmi, you want to talk about this? Yeah, cool. We'll talk about it. I think you guys need to understand that. All right. So the 90 overalls get that third bucket, and you know when it comes to pass rushers, that's going to be able to give you that edge threat. One of the unique things about Derrick Thomas, though, he has that high block shed, high power move, and high finesse move, but they call him a speed rusher. So regardless of the archetype, he's built like around the Von Miller archetype, but he's faster. So it's sort of like a no-brainer, but let me just make sure you guys understand. In some cases, the players don't play up to their attributes. So you want to be very, very careful with the player that you go after. Like right now, I'm telling you guys this. I got him, and I played like 4 games with him, and I see the immediate difference. And the reasoning behind that is once they get caught up, like this is what I give EA kudos for. And yes, I'm giving EA kudos for something. When the O-line is not as good and you have a good defensive line, when your players make contact, they immediately do a move. They immediately do some, swim, they do different moves to try to get off that player at a faster rate. That's why you may play people that they don't have abilities on these cards, but they still work, because I've been complaining about the attributes mattering for about 3 years. And it looks like it does matter because the players this year, they need an ability, but they also have to have the attributes. And I don't have a problem with that. It's just the fact that I want them to do what the numbers say. This guy, I visibly saw it. He was getting off blocks and going in and just straight smashing quarterbacks up. So I visibly saw it. No issue there. What I want you guys to understand, however, if you guys are stuck on the Von Miller, just remember Von Miller right now is 83 speed. And because of the strategy cards, you can't really manipulate the entire team. I understand the prospect of the strategy cards, but I think it's very ridiculous and unfair the way that they have it set in the fantasy packs. For instance, I've done the offensive fantasy pack for the rare cards. I haven't gotten a wide receiver speed card once. So you do the math. I've done it 10 times. Now you do get some free ones as you go ahead and grind the levels, but it's still unacceptable the way that EA has created this strategy card. It's really ridiculous. It's like a straight money grab. So right now I'm at the point where I can't even upgrade the speed of my receivers because I can't afford to do it. Like, I could have used that money to keep building my team, but I'm focusing on strategy cards. It's very, very wild and disgusting. And then you have to get another one that doesn't match one attribute with the other speed card in order to make both of them stack. It's really, really ridiculous this year. But it's so random that a lot of you guys that spent little money probably have both the strategy cards for offense, and the guys like me that spent a lot of money on trying to get the strategy cards have none. But defensively, we are good. The linebackers are different than the corners. I think the corners are the more important players, which is why Sean Taylor's a 95 speed. Kam Chancellor is, I believe Kam Chancellor's also a 95 speed. So hold on, let me just make sure, let me just double check that real quick. That's very important. If you have a Washington football team, he should be about a 97 speed. All right, so he's 95, and then the other dude is 95 too, I believe, Kam Chancellor. So with the way that the defense is working right now, we have to make sure that we have the right tools out there to handle that business. Let me just double check Kam Chancellor really, really fast, and then we'll go ahead and I'll show you the other players real quick. All right, so he's also 95. All right, cool. So with the way that everything is working out in regards to the game, Derrick Thomas, Jevon Kearse. Now, Pay, this guy is really, really good. The problem is his attributes, right? So look, this is what goes on, right? You see like how his power move is under 80 and his finesse move is, 66? He'll shed randomly, but he won't be consistent because EA wants the attributes to matter. And the one thing, the one reasoning behind why we use him, he's super fast. But the super fast aspect does not mean that he's generally going to get off the block and get in. He'll be super fast when he get loose, but he just won't be that guy that'll consistently get pressure. So that's why we have Jevon Kearse out there, because Jevon Kearse actually has suitable numbers and he's just as beastly. And we play him alongside Michael Strahan, who has just ridiculous numbers. They picked up right where they left off last year with Michael Strahan, to be honest, because he's really, really good. So notice the 90 overall, you get the third slot. Just want to keep pointing that out to you guys, right? Why did it just go to 89 when we moved it over there, though? That's kind of weird. That's kind of weird what EA is doing. Doesn't really matter. His power move is above 80, finesse move is high, block shed 84. So he's going to have more of a chance of shedding by himself naturally and organically than Pay would. All right, so when you look at these players, and remember, I would recommend edge threat. I know a lot of you guys look at pro players and they're like, oh yeah, dude, I'm running around with acrobats and it looks cool. But when you play somebody that wants to either run the ball down your throat or they run a play action boot, you're gonna have problems if you don't have defensive linemen with abilities. Now, if you run 3-3-5, that defense is idiot proof. If you're audibling down, you're just a psychopath. But it doesn't really matter. The defense is just designed to work. So because it's designed to work, you don't need the abilities on your line in that regard if you're running 3-3-5 wide. If you're running any other defense, 3-4, 4-3, whatever else you're running, you are going to need an ability on your D-line. I'm just letting you guys know, it's definitely something that I highly recommend. I do not see any reasoning behind why you guys playing the game without it, because your players will scream for no reason randomly. And it definitely puts a lot of pressure on your opponents doing that. So he plays on the inside, so we don't have to worry about that. And also, with the way that Derrick Thomas is playing right now, I think we're all set in regards to like the rushers right now. Like I said before, the team of the week players that are coming out defensively, the upgrade to TJ Watt, and also to Chandler Jones, they don't compare to anything that we have currently on the team, because EA always consistently gives Chandler Jones a very, very low speed, and that destroys the way that he'll play on the field, because even if he gets off of the block, he's not catching these guys. You ain't catching quarterbacks and stuff like that with a 79 speed, so it's really stupid. But again, at least it's consistent, because every year they do that to him. He just has no speed, so you just have to deal with that. Right now, I would recommend Derrick Thomas. For those of you guys that are wondering, even if you wanted to put Jevon Kearse on the outside and give him edge threat, those two guys will be better off right now than Von Miller. And, even Chandler Jones will be the, the player of the week. So you got to tread lightly with it, try to figure out how you want to work it. But other than that, there's really nothing else going on. I would be very, very careful in that regard, how you how you proceed with your pass rushers, because, obviously speed is king. All right, guys? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold off and wait to see when the team of the week, all that stuff drops, and I'll get back at you guys, kind of look at the players, and then we'll figure all that stuff out. All right? If you guys haven't liked the video yet, please feel free to do so. Subscribe. I'm going to see you guys and girls next time. Enjoy your day. One love, y'all.